Hi, I'm Rick Weatherall, elite coach with Athletes on Track and pro mountain biker for the Subaru Sun & Ski race team. We're out here today at Flat Creek Ranch and we're going to go for a pre-ride and take a look at the parts of the trail that can make a difference in your race. Let's begin by taking a look at the 1 mile long start loop. Every class, including the pros on Saturday, will race this loop just once and then dump out onto the regular lap. Now the start's on a nice, clean, wide gravel road for about 100 yards or so and then dumps off into this little bit less maintained double track, but still wide enough to be about 2 wide coming through the start. Now a little ways up here, probably about 200 or 300 meters after the clean gravel road ends, there'll be a slight uphill left-hand sweeper, and that's where it's going to take down to a single file. And you can see that sweeper right here. Alex is going through it right now. Right there it's going to go to single file, so from here on out you're going to have to move to go around somebody. Now normally I'm an advocate of a nice easy start and then give yourself a little time before you get rolling. This start is going to be different because it goes down to single file so quick. You're going to want to be really aggressive off the start line. You can see here that the road is kind of rough, and the left side, if you can't tell in the video, you'll see in person, the left side is not unrideable, but it's a lot rougher than the white line. So you want to be in position on the right side when you're going up that hill here, and then you're going to go into single track here where there'll be no passing at all. Now going up this double track start line, if you do find yourself on the edges of the trail fighting for position, remember that a lot of places where the branches are hanging out, they're just branches, and if you have to brush them with your shoulder, that's no big deal. I'd pay attention to this in pre-ride and see where the furthest point left and furthest point right you can go on the start, because while you're just one person on the start line, there's going to be a lot of people around you in the race. Now one of the reasons I say you can go real hard off the start line is this flat, twisty single track at the top of the start loop. It's only about a minute or two long, but can help you to recover from some hard efforts that you put in off the start line. So the goal here is going to be to stay nice and smooth and recover from your effort that you made off the start line and get ready to hit the gas as soon as it stumps out into the open again. Now just be mindful as you're going through this twisty single track, unlike the branches on the side of the trail on the start row there, these guys don't yield if you check them with your shoulder, so just keep an eye out. Now coming up here will be the real first opportunity for passing. The trail will open up real wide into a double track and then start going downhill and curve back towards the expo area. You can make a pass or two here if you want, just make sure you have your passing done by the end of the yellow tape there, because it'll go back to single file right through here as it gets real twisty and the speeds pick up real high. So you don't want to try to be making any passes through here, they'll get pretty dangerous and there's plenty of opportunities to make safer passes later in the race. Now, just a few minutes into the course, you'll come up to what looks like a fairly daunting drop when you're riding up to it from far away. However, when you get up close to it, you'll actually see it's really no big deal and you can ride off it just as slow or as fast as you'd like. Now the trick here is going to be to resist the temptation to try to catch a lot of air off the top of this drop. Since there's nothing in the landing area that you're actually trying to clear, keeping low will be the safest route for your tires and yourself. You can see in this clip here I'm doing it the wrong way. I'm pulling up and trying to clear that rock at the bottom. Instead, absorb the bike off the top of the drop and stay as low as possible for a nice soft landing. Now you want to carry as much momentum off that drop as you feel comfortable doing, because coming right up here about 20 feet later is a technical step-up feature that's on a left-hand corner. There's 2 lines possible. The slower, probably a little bit easier line is on the crack on the left, and then the faster line is just to swing around everything on the right. So here's an example of the slower line. Just make sure you catch a good downshift beforehand so you can re-accelerate yourself. And this line anywhere on the right will be a little bit faster. Now the next spot we want to look at here is a fairly technical climb that's preceded by a creek crossing. So because the creek crossing here in the race, these rocks are going to be pretty wet and make this kind of a tough climb. Now the real tough part is this super hard right-hand switchback right here at the top of that short climb. That's going to be the make or break. Now the key here is going to be to not be in too low of a gear to approach this steep climb here. If you go in too low of a gear, you can torque the back wheel and spin out really easy. So there Alex did a good gear. Here's an example of maybe one gear too high, but you can tell he's definitely not spinning out the back wheel. He's just having to put a lot of torque to the pedals. Now the switchback at the top, or at the halfway up the climb about right here, is really the crux of the climb. So this is where your track stand skills come in handy. So if you find yourself in a jam, you can track stand for just a second and then get yourself out of it just like that. Easy, right? Now there's one more section I want to look at here, and this is going to be a really important place to pay attention if you're going to race without pre-riding or ever having seen the course before. Now the long Cat 123 course has just split off from the UCI Pro Men and Women's course, and we've just done a technical top-out climb. Now we're twisting through the woods here, and there's one section coming up in just a minute where there's a right-hand corner that's kind of blind because of a tree. There's a route going across, it's almost parallel to the trail in the corner right here, that will put you right into the next tree if you don't know it's coming. So memorize this video right here, memorize this right-hand corner with the rocks lined up on the right. Coming into it, you'll want to come in on the left and then swing right. Aim for the sharp rock that's pointing right up out of the ground. You want to get the bike light and just hop over that so you're not going to hit this parallel route right here. After that, it'll be clear and easy. It's not a technical section, you just have to know it's coming. So we'll take a look at the clip of the last 500 meters or so of trail, and we'll take this opportunity to talk about what to look for in your pre-ride. And one of the features of this course that I think is unique is that it has really very few places to feed. There's plenty of places to pass, but there's not too many straightaways that are long enough and reliable enough to reach down, grab a bottle, get the bottle back in, and be ready to go for the next technical section. There's some double track in the middle of the course that can be useful for feeding, and then you may not get a feed again until the start-finish straightaway, which is a nice smooth false flat climb that you'll be on for about 30 seconds or so. So you can take a feed there, you can take a feed on some double track in the middle, and there's, when you're going through the tech/feed zone, which both the amateur and the pro courses go right by the tech zone. Of course the amateurs can't use that, but there's a feed zone there. You can take a feed as long as you can breathe at the top of that steep climb. And then of course I always look for the last place to pass on any course, and here you got a pretty reliable passing spot in the last 100 meters. It's false flat, uphill, wide dirt road, so if you're coming in close, get ready, out of the corner, grab a gear and light it up. So that's it. As always, if you guys have any questions, find me at the venue on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or shoot me an email, rickweatherald@gmail.com. I'll see you guys at the races.